Hey, who's ready for another Uncle Wiggily story? We're starting a new book, Uncle Wiggily's Stories. And our first story is going to be about a boy who has a problem. He's got toothache, but he's afraid to go to the dentist. How do you think Uncle Wiggily's going to be able to help him? Well, we'll find out in just a few minutes. So come with me and let's have fun. Story time is here with me, Stefania, and you, my special friends. I'll see you there in a minute. Hi, it's Stefania, and I'm back with another Uncle Wiggily story. Are you ready? This is a book called Uncle Wiggily's Storybook. And our first story is about, my tooth. Uncle Wiggily's toothache. It's about a little boy who has a toothache, but he's so afraid to go to the dentist. So, Uncle Wiggily comes up with an idea to help him. How do you think Uncle Wiggily's going to help this little boy to not be afraid? Let's find out. Uncle Wiggily's toothache. Once upon a time, there was a boy who had a toothache. It was not a very large tooth that pained him, and really it was quite surprising how a very large ache got into such a small tooth. At least, that was what the boy thought. "But I'm not going to the dentist and let him pull it," cried the boy, holding his hand over his mouth. "And I'm not going to let anybody in this house pull it either. So there." He ran and hid himself in a corner. Girls aren't that way when they have a toothache, are they? Or is it just boys? Maybe it's both. Anyhow, perhaps the tooth would not need pulling, said Mother as she looked at the boy and saw how much pain he had. "That's so," exclaimed Grandma, who was trying to think of some way in which to help the boy. "Maybe the dentist can make a little hole in your tooth, Sammy, Sammy, and fill the hole with cement, as the man filled the hole in our sidewalk, and then all your pain will stop." "No, I'm not going to the dentist. I'm not going, I tell you," cried Sonny. And I think he stamped his foot on the floor, at least a little bit. Boom, boom, "I'm not going." It may have been that he saw a tack sticking up and wanted to hammer it down with his shoe, but I'm afraid it was a stamp of his foot. And afterwards, the boy was sorry. Anyway, his tooth kept on aching, and it was the kind called jumping, for it was worse at one time than another. Sometimes a little bit, sometimes it hurt a lot. Sometimes the boy thought the pain jumped from one side of his tongue to the other, and again it seemed it leaped way up to the roof of his mouth. The toothache even seemed to turn somersaults and peppersaults, and once it happened to jump over backward, but it never completely jumped away, which is what the boy wished it would do. "You'd better let me take you to the dentist," said his mother. "He'll either fix the tooth so it won't ache any more, or he'll take it out so a new tooth will go in. And really, the pain the dentist may cause will be only a little one, and it will be all over in a moment, while your toothache may ache all night." "No, I'm not going to the dentist. I'm not going," cried Sonny Boy, and then he acted just as if there was a tack in the carpet. Boom, 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 that needed hammering down with his foot. Now, it was about this time that Uncle Wiggily Longears, the bunny rabbit gentleman, was hopping from his hollow stump bungalow in the woods to go look for an adventure. But as yet, Uncle Wiggily knew nothing about the boy with the toothache. That came a little later. "Are you going to be gone long?" asked Nurse Jane Fuzzy Wuzzy, the muskrat lady housekeeper of the bunny gentleman. "Only long enough to have a nice adventure," answered Mr. Longears, and away he hopped on his red, white, and blue striped rheumatism crutch, with his pink, twinkly nose held in front of him like the headlight on a choo-choo train. Now, as it happened, Uncle Wiggily's hollow stump bungalow was not far from the house where the toothache boy lived, though the boy had never seen the rabbit's house. He had often wandered in the woods, almost in front of the bunny's bungalow, but not having the proper sort of eyes, the boy had never seen Uncle Wiggily. It needs very sharp eyes to see the creatures of the woods and the fields, and to find the little houses in which they live. At any rate, the boy had never noticed Uncle Wiggily, though the bunny gentleman had often seen the boy. Many a time when you go through the woods, the animal folk look out and see you, when you never even knew they were there. And pretty soon, Uncle Wiggily hopped right past the house where the toothache boy lived, and then, just then, for about the 10th time, Mother was saying, "You had better let me take you to the dentist and have the toothache stopped, Sonny." "No, I don't want to. I guess it'll stop itself," said the boy, hopeful-like. Uncle Wiggily, hiding in the bushes in front of the boy's house, sat up on his hind legs and wiggled his pink nose. By a strange and wonderful new power which he had, the bunny gentleman could hear and understand boy and girl talk, though he could not speak it himself. So it was no trouble at all for Uncle Wiggily to know what the boy was saying. "He's afraid. That's what the boy is," said the bunny uncle to himself, leaning on his red, white, and blue striped crutch. "He's afraid to go to the dentist and have that tooth filled or pulled. No, that's very silly of him, for the dentist will not hurt him much and will soon stop the ache. I wonder how I can make the boy believe this. His mother and grandmother can't seem to." For Mr. Longears heard Mother and Grandmother trying to get the toothache boy to let them take him to the dentist. But the boy only shook his head and made believe hammer tacks in the carpet with his foot. No. He held his hand over his mouth. But all the while, the ache kept aching, achier and achier, and jumping and leaping and tumbling and twisting and turning and flip-flopping, almost like a clown in a circus. No, I'm not going to the dentist," cried the boy. Then Uncle Wiggily had an idea. He could look in through the window of the house and see the boy. In front of the window was a grassy place near the edge of the wood, and close by was an old stump, shaped almost like the easy chair of a dentist's office. "I know what I'll do," said Uncle Wiggily. "I'll make believe I have the toothache. I'll get Dr. Possum, and I'll sit down in this stump chair. Then I'll tell Dr. Possum, to make believe pull out one of my teeth. I suppose if Nurse Jane were here, she might ask, "What good will this do?" thought Uncle Wiggily. But I think it'll do a lot of good. If the boy sees me, a rabbit gentleman, having a teeth pulled, or a tooth pulled, that's more accurate, which is what he will think he sees, it may make him brave enough to trial the dentist. I'll try it. Away hopped Uncle Wiggily to Dr. Possum's office. What's the matter? Rheumatism again? Asked the animal doctor. No, but I want you to come over and pull a tooth for me, said Uncle Wiggily, blinking one eye and twinkling his pink nose sneaky-like. Pull a tooth? Why, your teeth are all right, cried Dr. Possum. It's to give a lesson to the boy, whispered the bunny, and then Dr. Possum blinked one eye in understanding fashion. A little later, Uncle Wiggily sat himself down on an old stump that looked like a chair, and Dr. Possum stood over him. Open your mouth and show me which tooth it is that hurts, said Dr. Possum, just like a dentist. All right, answered Uncle Wiggily, and from the corner of his eye, the bunny gentleman could see the toothache boy at the window looking out. The boy saw the rabbit and Dr. Possum at the old stump, and he saw Mr. Longears open his mouth and point with his paw to a tooth. Oh, Mother, cried the boy, very much excited. Look, there's a funny rabbit all dressed up in a tall silk hat, having a tooth pulled. Grandma, look! Well, I do declare, murmured the old lady. Isn't that perfectly wonderful? I didn't know that animals ever have the toothache. Oh, I suppose they do once in a while, said the toothache boy's mother. But see how brave the rabbit gentleman is. Not to mind having the animal dentist stop his ache. Just fancy. Neither Grandma nor Mother said anything to Sunny Boy. All three of them just stood at the window and watched Uncle Wiggily and Dr. Possum. And as they looked, Dr. Possum put a shiny little thing, like a button hook, goes kind of like that, in the bunny gentleman's mouth. He gave a sudden little pull, and a moment later held up something which sparkled in the sun. It was only a bit of glass, which Uncle Wiggily had held in his paw, ready for this part in their little play, but it looked like a tooth. Well, I declare, laughed Grandma, the bunny had his tooth pulled. And he doesn't seem to mind it at all, said Mother. Surely enough, Uncle Wiggily hopped off the make-believe dentist stump, and with his red, white, and blue striped rheumatism crutch, began to dance a little jiggly jig with Dr. Possum. This dance is to show that it doesn't hurt even to have a tooth pulled, much less one full and filled, said the bunny. I understand, laughed Dr. Possum, and he and Uncle Wiggily danced, and as they danced, they looked out of the corners of their eyes and saw the toothache boy standing at the window watching them. Well, I never in all my born days saw a sight like that, exclaimed Grandma. Not I. Nor I, said Mother. Isn't it wonderful? Sunny Boy took his hand down from his mouth. I guess, Mother, he said as he saw Uncle Wiggily jump over his crutch in a most happy fashion. I guess I'll go to the dentist and have him stop my toothache. Hurrah! Softly cried Uncle Wiggily, who heard what the boy said. This is just what I wanted to happen, Dr. Possum. Our little lesson is over. Now we may go. Away hopped the bunny to tell Nurse Jane about the strange adventure, and Dr. Possum, with his bag of powders and pills on his tail, where he always carried it, shuffled back to his office. Sonny Boy went to the dentist, and soon his tooth was fixed so it would not ache again. He hardly felt it at all what the dentist did to him. I didn't know how easy it was till I saw the rabbit have his tooth pulled, said the boy to the dentist. Said the dentist, non-committal like. Some rabbits are very funny. That's our story. The story of Sonny's toothache. Uncle Wiggily helped him, didn't he? And he felt so much better for it. Both of them, actually. Next story is going to be about Uncle Wiggily and the freckled girl. So, if you want to be around and know when that story's ready, be sure to subscribe. Then, if you also click the notification button, YouTube is going to tell you when the next story is ready so you don't miss out. You don't miss all the fun. You can be part of the fun. If you subscribe, hit that notification button because it's almost Christmas, isn't it? So you know what that means. That means lots of fun Christmas stories coming your way, songs as well, and all kinds of good things. So, I am inviting you to the party. Hope to see you again soon. And please, if you please, give us a like. That would be so encouraging and makes us very happy. That's all for now. We'll be back again soon. Be good. See you again.